Here we have our X-axis assembly. We have our 2 lead screws in front of us along with 8 M3 nuts and screws. So we'll take one of our lead screw assemblies, put the 4 nuts, the 4 bolts in there like this, and then we will take our larger X-axis assembly and insert it simply into that. Turn it upside down. Now we are taking an end stop we've separated from our other strands. We're going to insert 2 M2 by 16 screws into the end stop. Then we will take our X-axis assembly, assemble like this, taking a M2 nut, carefully tighten around. So we have finished our assembly of our X-axis parts. We've installed both of the lead screws and we've fastened our end stop onto the X-axis assembly. Now we are going to take one of our 396 millimeter polished rods. We are going to insert it carefully into the hole there until there is no more to go. Take the second one, also install it there. Okay. For our upper rod, we are going to put 2 linear brackets. And for our lower rod, 1 linear bracket. After that, we are going to take our other X-axis assembly piece and we will push it together like that. Now we are going to take our Z-axis acrylic mounts. Notice carefully, the outer edge hole will be in the middle of your printer, like this. We will take our screw, loosely fasten, and for this one, again, our outer edge screw. Now we are taking our X-axis assembly. We are going to take one of the 320 millimeter smooth rods, insert it carefully through the hole at the top of your bracket and into the bearing. Make sure you have a fit here. You can adjust this if you don't. Take this one, do the same. You can adjust your X-axis parts to fit the assembly rods. Make sure you have an up and down unobstructed motion, and then tighten your. Okay, now we are going to take more of our acrylic end stops. We're going to insert a screw. We can put it covering up our hole for our smooth rod. And then we will tighten Now we have completed our X-axis assembly. We are going to take our screw and open the the coupler. Okay, take one of your steel threaded rods. It will fall in. Once tight, proceed to secure the rod in place. And repeat for the other side. Okay. After you have installed both threaded rods onto your printer, you can do a simple test by spinning both of your couplers in the same direction, either to the left to raise the x-axis, or to the right to lower the x-axis. Make sure that you have a level surface. If one level is higher, you can simply raise or lower it to make sure that your x-axis is flat. Now we've finished our x-axis assembly. We're going to take our extruder heat end mount with 8 holes on top, 2 holes on the bottom. You'll notice that we've already assembled the belt grasper for your hot end extruder. Take an M4 by 8 inch screw. If it does not fit into the hot end thing, you can simply take the screw and screw it into the hot end assembly like this. Now we have assembled our 10 screws into our heated extruder frame. We are going to carefully line up the rest of the screws with their proper holes. Once you have done that, slowly tighten each screw. So we have assembled our hot end mount. Now we will test to make sure that we have free movement along the entire of the x-axis with no impediments and very little resistance. Now we will take our last, well, not last, but another stepper driver. Notice the outlets for the wiring will face down in this manner. We will take our M20 by M3 by 20 screw, insert through the hole, and use our Allen wrench to fasten the motor. Okay, now we are going to take our belt pulley. We are going to loosen the screws on it just a little bit. Notice our stepper driver has a flat surface on one side only. We want to line up our screw with that flat surface, and we will tighten the screw. Okay, now that we have installed our stepper motor, we are going to take our belt and feed it through the bottom of our first x-axis assembly. We are going to install it. We are going to install. Make sure to take a little bit extra. And push into the like this. Come back to the front. Take our belt, wrap it around your pulley, feeding it through. And on top of your thing, coming back under like this. We will take our belt again, giving yourself extra slack. Insert the belt into the thing. So we have installed our belt and we have tightly coiled it around our belt grip. Now we will take our scissors and we are going to cut near the end of the zip tie. Okay, again, checking for movement. Notice your belt staying in line and everything moving freely. Now we're going to take the lower extruder assembly block. Notice the two marks here, the two closer holes. We are going to put it in this, like that, the two holes facing the back. Now we'll take our M6 by 8 screw and start to assemble it. Pull it in like that and finish tightening securely. Okay, so now we're going to take our final stepper motor. Notice that our engine terminal is facing up. We're going to take the plastic printed piece that's part of our extruder assembly, and we're going to fasten it in place with one M3 by 5 screw, like this. Once you've fastened your screw in place tightly, until there's no more resistance, then we're going to take our brass nozzle. Notice that your stepper motor has one flat surface on the shaft. We are going to line up our screw with that flat surface. There we go. We've lined up our screw on that flat surface. Notice the small hole where your filament will be going through. Make sure that you are in the middle of that hole with your gears. After you've determined that you have in a sound position, continue to tighten. Now we are going to take our final piece to the extrusion assembly, taking our screw and our screwdriver, our Phillips head screwdriver, tighten everything. So we have some motion. Lastly, we are going to take this spring. You'll open up your thing there, push down on the spring. Cut. So now that we've assembled the most of our extruder assembly, we're going to have a look at how it will work. We're going to press down on the spring and notice that it creates an opening here. So when we insert our filament into the extruder, see how it goes through like this. We can pull it now, and that's how our extruder assembly is going to work. You may have some problems if you have noticed the filament is bent. If I try to insert it, we have some problems. This is what we will always hope to avoid. So now we've got our hot end assembly. Okay, we are going to first loosen our little screw there. We are going to put the hot end this way. Notice the wires coming out to this direction. As long as your hot end is flush in there, we are going to tighten this screw. Okay, now we are going to take our fan. We want the wires facing up with the decal facing in. We are taking our fan guard, placing it on the outside of the fan, taking our heatsink with the screw holes on the bottom facing inside like this. Now we will take an M3 by 45 screw. Notice there is 3 washers on the end of the screw, and we are going to insert them through the entire assembly like this. Take one more, also with 3 washers, insert through the entire assembly like this. After this, we'll take our extruder assembly. Notice the free space on the bottom. This is going to rest in your carriage. We insert the screws into the extruder assembly. We take our Allen wrench and we tighten. So we've assembled the most of our hot end assembly now. Notice that it's fixed tightly to our X-axis. It moves freely still. Our fan wires coming out here. Our extruder hot end wires coming out here. And we are still able to press down this white tab. Now we're going to take our fan, face the logo in towards the extruder assembly, and we will take our fan casing with 2 M3 by 20 screws. Put them on like this, and then fasten tightly to the extruder assembly.